Alright, hey guys, so in this video we're going to get our possession mechanic to work. To get started, what you're going to do is go into the folder where your animals are, and we're going to duplicate the animal itself, the wolf, in my case. So I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate just like this, and I'm going to drag it up top, and I'm going to rename this one to Wolf AI, just like that. Okay, and then in this wolf, we'll leave all of that set that way. That's fine. But what we're going to do here is we're going to start removing um, some of these items that we're not going to need. So we're going to remove from the non-AI, we're going to remove the wolf script. So remove this, and we're going to remove the nav mesh agent. For now, we'll remove the animator, the animation event trigger. We are going to leave the rigid body, but we're going to set the collision detection to continuous, and we're going to unfreeze all the positions here. Okay, so that one's fine. This capsule collider, let's remove that. And we'll leave the animator. I'm going to leave the animator here, so that one's fine. Okay. So next thing that we want to do is we're going to set the tag as player. Where's player? There we go. Okay, so now that we have that part set up, we're going to add a AI Hunter Evasion script, and we are going to disable it for now, and we're going to have to set up the tactic to roam, and we are going to go into the player. Where are they? Tabs, scripts. In the scripts folder here, just take one of these and duplicate it by Control D, and we're just gonna rename it to Wolf Stats, and then in your Wolf Stats, just make sure you go ahead and change this to Wolf, and we'll mess with these at another time, but for now you can just leave these as is. Just make sure you change the wolf. Alright, so now that we have that set up, let's go back to our wolf, and let's give it wolf stats here. Alright, so that's good. And then we could just collapse that. The next component that we're going to want to add is a player input and player input handler and a player. So these three scripts we're going to work on next. So the first one we're going to need to do is the player input. So click on the radio button here and click this player component here. Then you're going to come down. You can leave all of these in behavior. You're going to change this to invoke Unity events, just like that, and click down on events and click on gameplay. And we're just going to set one for each. So here you're just going to take your wolf and drag it in here, and then go into your input handler, and we're going to set move input because this is the move callback. So player on move input, just like that. And we're going to go through each one of these and set them all up. So I'm going to pause the video for now and set these up. Alright, so I went ahead and set all mine up, and you can see here each one of them has the wolf attached to it, and then each one has its input. So this one's move, because under the move, camera will have camera, jump will have jump, possession will have possession, and again you can find these under the player input handler, and they're all right here. So just set these up accordingly. Don't worry about these bottom three, the device and controls. These three we'll set up at another time. Okay, so that should be set up for the player input. Next, we're going to go into the input handler. And the only thing we're going to need here is the animator. So you can just take your wolf, not the AI, just the regular wolf, and drag and drop like so. That should be good here. So the next one is the player script. So here you're going to set the animator again. Rigid body's fine. And the basic stats, again, that is your wolf basic stats. Remember, this is going to need to come out of this resource folder here. I'm sorry, the scripts folder here. So these are separate from the ones we had from before. These, we're probably going to rename them at some point. Just make sure that's the ones you're using. Okay, perfect. Next thing we're going to need to do is set up a camera. So go ahead and open up, create an empty game object, and we're going to name this simple camera angle, and then create a camera object within there. So we have our camera, and we're going to name this main camera wolf, just like this. And we're going to tag it as main camera. Perfect. Let's double check. Everything looks good. Alright, so now that we have our camera set up, we're just going to set the transform on it. So I'm going to go, this is just what I tested, 1.33 on the X, 1.26, and negative 3.55 We will go ahead and adjust these more thoroughly at some other point. So for now, just put these numbers in there and we'll test this, see how it works. Okay, perfect. So now that we have our camera set up, we are going to attach the camera to the simple camera angle like this, and that should be good for the player wolf. Um, let's go back into the Wolf AI and just make sure we have everything we need here. See here. Okay. And to me, that looks like it's probably going to work. So let's give this a try here and see if we can take over the wolf. I'm going to disable my bear so he doesn't try and attack the wolf just for this testing, and let's give it a try, see what happens. Fingers crossed. And okay, yep, that's going to be the next thing that I missed. So go back into your wolf and go to your wolf AI and create a 3D object cube. Remove the mesh renderer, and we will just kind of we'll fit this a little better. So just change the size so that it fits your animal. Doesn't have to be perfect until we get to the tuning levels. For now, we're just trying to get things to work. I'll just drop that a little bit and raise it so it's level with the ground. Let's see how that looks. Alright, we'll just drop the Z a little bit. Alright, that should be okay for now. Alright, that'll be good. And we're just going to name this we'll just name this the body. Alright, great. Now we're going to do the same thing to our player wolf. We're just going to go 3D object cube, remove the mesh renderer, and we're going to just actually, you know what we could do to make this even faster since it's the same thing? Just go to your Wolf AI body and just right click right here on this bar and copy component like that. And then we'll go down to our cube here and we're just going to right click again and we're going to paste the component values. And it should give us the same values as we just had. And let's go ahead and just rename this to body. Okay, perfect. Let's hope this works. Let's give it another try. Oops, got a little mistake here. So we're going to have to disable our wolf, the player wolf here. And let's try it again. That real quick so I can just disable these and go ahead. And we still have another bug. So hang on, let me pause this and figure out what I'm missing. I'll be right back. Okay, so one other thing that I forgot to do here is we're going to take our Wolf AI and we're going to drag and drop it into the Nix resources folder under prefabs. So this is under programming player controller, resources, and then prefabs. And we're just going to make these prefabs real quick. Okay, so we have one of each. And let's try one more time. We'll disable our box. Hold on a minute. And try again. And still nothing. Hang on. Alright guys, so sorry about that. It took me a minute to figure this out. But anyway, so I think I set this up on the last time here. Make sure that you add to the AI Hunter evasion script here, and make sure you set the stats like we did before, not the wolf stats. Yes, the wolf stats, the ones that are in the Nix folder under scripts. Make sure you set the stat and label the animal wolf, set it to roam. Just type those in, those are strings, and you could set the tag here to whatever animal it is. So make sure that that is done. And then in our prefabs folder here, the Nix resources prefabs, make sure you put your prefabs in here. And the wolf non-AI, make sure that it is clicked to on. Okay, so make sure that is on, and then I'm just going to go ahead and open up the prefab to make sure it saves. Okay, so then make sure it's ticked on, make sure this set to player, and then go back to scenes. If you have autosave, I should just go over that with you real quick, just in case you don't have this set up. If you don't have auto save clicked, make sure it's that you save. But I just always keep auto save on. So okay, so back into scenes, and then at that point you can delete your wolf game object from your scene. I'm just going to put this back in here like that. And let's try and run it. Actually, before I run this, I'm just going to fix my camera because on my test I noticed my camera didn't look right. So what I'm going to do here is just set my camera so it's a little more centered. So where is my camera set? Simple camera 0, like this. Okay, so just set your camera so it looks a little better. Then go 0. I think at 1.5, whatever the Y value was probably fine. And maybe push it forward just a little bit. So I'm going to go negative 2.225. And then let's save that and let's take a look and see how it looks. probably still needs a little bit more adjusting, but for the most part, that's working. You're going to notice the animations are not working, and that's something that we're going to clean up and fix up in the next video. So hopefully you guys got through this with me. I apologize. I had a few errors and bugs trying to figure out how to set this up myself. But anyway, I'm going to get back to the animations in the next video. So I'll see you then.